Welcome aboard.
Wanted to show you something. Do you see this on your screen?
Yeah. 94 subscribers. Nice.
Yeah, check it out.
Almost
Bro.
100.
Yeah, 94. This last video did pretty well,
Oh, good.
but this one not so much. I should put a card in this one that refers people back to this one, but I don't know. Because they kind of go together, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I was gonna show you something. Okay. Okay. I'm running out of time. Got 4 minutes. Okay. Um, so Mark here said, would you consider making a vid explaining why you use your particular older sources, like Driver? Were they on to something we have forgotten? A lot of your sources I've never heard about earlier because I'm not a native English speaker or reader. Which books do you recommend? Well, so I was thinking about this, and there's two reasons really that I use these older sources, and the main reason is because they're readily available to everyone. And usually under my videos, I'll link people to these books on the Internet Archive so they can read it themselves. Um, and the other reason is because I just love these critical commentaries by uh, the way they present their material. This is how I find a lot of things. They pick through textual issues and talk about them, and I end up seeing the real meaning of a lot of things in scripture. Like, I never would have known Eve meant serpent if I didn't read Skinner's commentary, you
Mm.
know. So that's just an example, but these critical commentaries have just been real helpful to me. But books on the archive are what I like to use because I can link them to people. There's a downside, though. These books I quote were from scholars that didn't have access to the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so you have to be careful. Their opinion on certain things would have been different had they known some of the things we know today. So that's a danger you can run into with these older sources. The other reason is really because I don't, I hate to say this, but I don't really like modern evangelical scholarship. I think they leave out uncomfortable details, and sometimes that is what you need to know in order to figure out some stuff. So it's probably it has a little to do with my research methods as well, you know. But that's why I use those types of resources.
Well, the thing I was going to say about not only Driver or Skinner or just anybody that did some of those older commentaries, just extending on one of the things you said, it seems like current scholarship, uh, theologians are so like it's almost like they have such a high regard for scripture to a fault, or they're so I don't know hypersensitive to churchendom ideas that they don't want to they can't analyze it properly because they don't analyze it as well because of how high they have particular views, and they know they'll be ostracized if they are willing to question things.
Yeah.
and analyze things deeply well. Even though some of these other older guys might have a lower view of scripture, it's to a benefit
Yeah.
uh, of they're really able to answer deep, difficult questions, analyze the text for what it's supposed to be, uh, dig into the original meaning of particular words, phrases, to the point to uncover the true meaning. It really is ironic that the higher view misses the idea of scripture, while the lower view can break it down the way it's supposed to be broken down, so we
Yeah.
can really get the meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our perspective on the inspired text influences that. And a lot of people are just afraid to even open a book like Drivers, because they know they'll find things in there that challenge them and they won't know how to answer.
Right.
So, but that's how you find a lot of stuff. And with a proper grasp of the documentary hypothesis, it's really not a problem. So people that have a strict Mosaic authorship of the Pentateuch, as if he wrote these 5 books as they are, if that's what you believe, you've got tons of problems, which should cause you to just change your view on that. But I don't know.
Now, which books do you recommend?
Yeah, so Mark goes on to say, which books do you recommend? And that's been a real difficult thing for me because the two areas I discuss at this channel is a pre-Adamite exposition of Genesis. It's hard to find any resources that help you there. There's a few books on the archive about the pre-Adamite view, but they're just not very satisfying. And some of them get racial when you don't need to. There's no racial issue here. The Edenic people would have looked like the Canaanites around them. And at Babel, when these people were all mixed into these other clans, there was no big deal. It
Right.
wasn't like that. There was no Edenic people transferred to Northern Europe, where the people up there are just white people.
Right. Right.
And so I don't know. These the pre-Adamite doctrine has suffered from racist teaching in the 1800s and stuff. So it's unfortunate. People try to say Adam was the first white man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like, no, no. I mean, the garden was in Jerusalem. It wasn't in Germany or something like that, or England. And
Wasn't Miami?
yeah. But why would God make the Garden of Eden in Jerusalem and then make a priest who is an Eskimo or something like that? That doesn't make any sense. So you just have to keep it reasonable. There's really no racial things in it at all. But that's a problem when you look at some of these older books and they end up having some kind of racial teaching in it. And but it's more than that. Like, I found their exposition uncompelling. I just don't think they did a good job threshing it out. I think I've done a better job than you can find in any of these other pre-Adamite books that you could read. But just in general, the pre-Adamite view is an extreme minority view. It's I don't know any other pre-Adamite people. I mean, it's just me and you, my friend Joe in Canada.
Nice.
You know, so
Right.
it's just it's a minority view, and there aren't many resources to find.
I was going to say the beauty of this channel is it's sharing two huge ideas that are very scarce to find, if not impossible to find, because they're really pretty new ideas. Or
Yeah,
or at
the
least,
second, well,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially to the extent you've broken down the pre-Adamite view. Like other sources have talked about, but you've provided a very, very detailed exposition on that idea.
Yeah, hopefully it's been helpful for people. The other issue I bring out here at this channel, though, is my full systematizing of dispensational theology with utter cessationism and so forth. Now that there are no resources to refer to help you there. If you understand dispensational theology, then you might look into E.W. Bullinger, who is a thinker who began to see some things that I see, but I don't think he came to the right conclusion. And then I think I have. But in this Roth's Key area, this is the only resource there is for it.
You'll find some good books on the theocratic kingdom and dispensational theology. I think those are out there, but yeah, no one talks about a closed window.